Hey guys, I hope you're doing fantastic. JB here. This is a place for some good energy and some great ideas, and I'm going to give you some stuff today. We're going to rock and roll. I got a question from a subscriber today. Steve asked this. He says, JB, super big thank you. I'm much more of a storyteller than a writer, so I'm considering creating a podcast to share knowledge and ideas. What do you think the 5 most critical things to getting a podcast listened to with subscribers? Well, I think I can address this as I've been podcasting since 2005. My podcast has been top 25 on iTunes, literally built my entire business around it. I've done 4,000 on my paper today, 4,223 episodes over the years. So I've got a couple tips for you that are going to be a little different than probably anybody else is going to give you because I build a little bit different than anybody else. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are going to talk about these 5 critical tips. And before we get started, I am shooting today on the Sony A7C 20 millimeter using the microphone, the Sony microphone that comes with it, the typical A7 S3 that I use for most of my shots. I'm trying something new, and you got to let me know, how is the shot? Does this work? Because I can pick this camera up and go with it and really utilize it in a bunch of different ways, even though I love this camera. And that leads me to my first point about podcasting. Okay, I'm going to show you something over here. This is a Shure SM7B. I've got a whole mixer board. It goes into my computer, but the truth is that isn't what I built my podcast on. What I built my podcast on is this microphone. This is an Apogee microphone, and probably episode 600 to episode 2500, it was on this microphone with a baby sock. Why the baby sock? Because it works as a pop filter, so you don't get the pop, 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 pee, pee, pee. And that's what that is. So what I'm here to tell you to start off with point 1 is, it's not about the equipment. You can have all the fancy cameras and microphones and everything that you got, and we're specifically talking about audio, but I'm using this as an example. The audio just needs to be good. It doesn't have to be great. And so many times, so many people are intimidated by all this equipment, and I get it. I would get intimidated too if I've never done it before, but you don't need all that equipment, okay? Keep it simple to get started. Just utilize a system like GarageBand, which is what I use, or Audacity, and just get started. You know, they always say in content creation, the first 50 or 100 episodes are probably gonna suck. And believe me, a lot of stuff I still create sucks, but I've been able to build a great business around it because I do it every day, and I'm authentic, and I'm real, and that's key. We're gonna get to that one in a minute. The second thing that I want to talk about is don't do interviews, okay? That's going to be opposite of what a lot of great people teach, because in theory, it works. You get somebody that's got a large tribe already, and you do a podcast with them, and they are going to share that with their tribe, right? And you think that you will grow. So there's been a few people that have done tremendous with this and been very successful with that, and build a huge model around it. The reason I don't like it is because you don't build a personal one-on-one relationship with the person. They are there for the interviewee, not for you. So you aren't building a brand. You're not building you over time. It's kind of like you're working on their authority. Do I do interviews? Every once in a while. I've had Gary Vaynerchuk on my show. I've had Wayne Dyer, rest in peace, who passed away. A couple people that have already been very successful in helping launch their books, and friends that I've met over the years. Gary Vaynerchuk is Gary V. Those people I've known for years because I was on the stage at Blog World back in 2000, 2007, 2008, talking about podcasting. So I would bring them on. But my show, 4,323 episodes, really has been more about me, and giving my message out. And again, we're going to get into a couple other ideas, but watch the interview model. It's hard to do. You've got to get the other person. You got to schedule things. Look, I play golf 6 times a week, typically 5 times. I don't want to be hunting down people to do interviews. I want people to come to my show for me, and I'd rather have less people that are there for me than more people that are coming that are not really watching. It's kind of like the Remarkable 2 keyword here on this show. I want to start building a real community, not around people just looking for tablets. I want people to ask questions like Steve's asking where I can really help them. So focus on you, not on interviews. Even though that model can work, you asked me for my critical things. This is what I'm telling you: stay away from interviews. And the third thing that I would tell you that's really key is acquisition versus retention. So I personally feel that the podcast market is very saturated. That doesn't mean you can't do it. The problem I have with it is so many people think these mediums like YouTube and podcasting are really about acquisition. And the truth is they're not so much about acquisition, but retention. Meaning once you get somebody in their ears, and we're talking specifically audio, not a video podcast. We're talking audio podcast. They're walking with you and they're doing things with you. So you are intimately connecting with them. So you're talking more about retention. So the idea is to get people to listen. Now, here's what I'll tell you. Back when I was in blog world in 2006, 2007, and talking to people, I used to talk about podcasts, and they would say, what is it? I mean, everybody would, what the heck is a podcast? And we had iPods. That's why they called them. People had to plug in to get my shows back then, right? And I had to teach. Now, if I speak, and I spoke in New York a couple years ago before all this stuff started happening, I had a big audience. I came off stage and people were like, listen to mine, listen to mine, listen to mine, listen to mine. Everybody had a podcast. The barrier to entry is very easy. But if you take the attitude that I'm going to retain and I'm going to build relationships, it's going to change the whole dynamic. And let's make a quick note about video versus audio. Video is a prejudice medium, meaning people can watch this and say, I don't like that guy. But audio, they don't know who you are. In fact, a lot of people see me, they think I'm so gigantic, I'm 5'9", right? Because just my energy. So audio lends itself to a much easier message and methodology than video. This is kind of hard to do. I'm trying to get fast and creative with it so I can produce good content, but do it quickly because it's hard to edit and do all this stuff. But when it comes to audio, GarageBand, boom, I don't even edit. I have a front and a back. My 15-minute show literally takes me 20 minutes in the morning and I'm done. Everything for me is about systems and lifestyle. I want to live life. I don't want to get stuck behind the camera, behind the computer. I want to be outside playing golf, being with my family, just as I assume you do too. So audio, I think, is a preferred medium unless you're somebody that gets into these cameras and stuff and likes to really do video. Okay, next one was solve problems. I can't tell you how important that is. I'm trying to do it here on this show. Why is this show growing? Well, because I have a knowledge base of years and years and years. Before I was in aerospace and I ran companies, I'm 52 years old, pretty good shape. I can teach health stuff. I can teach technology stuff. I can teach podcasting stuff. Now, obviously, I can't give all my goods away. I try to, but I also coach. That's what I do. So for me, really, it's just about continually solving problems. And depending on the higher level of the problem, if somebody's trying to start a business or trying to be more productive, well, they go to my website and they actually purchase a course or a program because they know I'm a real person. They've seen me on YouTube. They know that I'm real and they know that's what I do and they can see it just from what I'm doing. So just get out there and continue to solve problems and you will build a great show. How do you solve problems? Answer questions just like I'm answering this from Steve. Look at the questions you're getting. And by the way, leave questions in the comments because it allows me to make more content to solve more problems, which allows me to continue to grow here on the channel, which really works. By the way, my notes are on my Remarkable 2 today. You see that? I have notes on the paper device. And like I said, the last point I think is really critical is be you. Be authentic. Be vulnerable. All right. Let people in the background. Like I'm in my office right now. I'll show you. I'm going to pick this up. Hopefully it's not too wobbly. I have the stabilizer on, but I got a little blue light back there, right? I'm trying to make it a little bit worthy of production value, but I'm also doing a little bit different. I'm not really set up right with this. So I'm just, I've got this all set up. Look, now it's crooked. So I got to fix the camera. You got to be real. You got to be you and you got to be vulnerable. If you're not, then what happens is, people are going to tune out. I mean, it's the overproduced stuff is going away. Now there's a time and a place to start upping your equipment and getting your gear better and really working. I always say the raw stuff is great. When people start looking into you to start spending money with you, your stuff needs to be polished. But when you're out there building a relationship with people and connecting with people, it's all about being vulnerable. Show them, let them see the backside of them. Let them see the back end. Let them know you're not perfect. Because the truth is, everybody's not perfect. Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's got problems. And the more authentic and real you can be, the better off you're going to be in building that audience. And again, you're not looking for everybody. One of the key things is to make sure you hone in your audience. Let people self-select. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody likes this show. I get dislikes all the time, and it's okay. I can live with that. That's one of the things you got to learn. As you start producing content, you're going to get dislikes. And when you get those dislikes, just keep going. You know, every no leads closer to yes, and love the ones you're with. There's an old 70s song, right? That's what you got to do. Love the one you're with, and then you'll ultimately lead to your success. And by the way, I mentioned it. My first 100 shows sucked. It sucked. I'm 4,323. Imagine that, 4,323 shows. So I've had people that have started podcasting and quit in the first 50 shows. I'm like, you're just getting started. What are you quitting for? I've seen people quit with the first 3 to 4 shows. And it's because of the reasons I've said before. They're worried about the equipment. They're so stressed out on trying to be somebody they're not. They have this total production quality, when if they're just raw and real and just themselves, they're going to attract real people, which will in turn attract other more real people, which will grow. It's the old, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. Just be real and take a slow growth approach, as I'm doing on this YouTube channel, and you will start to grow. Okay? I hope that helps. Let's get some questions down below. What are you thinking about? I'm going to be bringing you all types of content. As you know, it is the wrong way to build a YouTube channel. I don't care. I'm having fun building relationships with some really cool people, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. So, Steve, thank you so much for the question. Let's go out there and have a fantastic day. And if you need me, you guys know where to get me right here on this YouTube channel. So go do it to it, and I'll see you in the next video.